Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. In today's video, I am making a fun Valentine card. I'm starting out with the Room Builder Slimline die set to create my little country cottage. And I am using these little pieces right here. They're so thin, but they really help make the seam because they create like the railing and the baseboards for my kitchen scene. Now I used the largest and medium rectangle dies to make that window frame. I die cut out two pieces with the curtain panel, so I have a curtain for either side of the window as well as a curtain rod. Now I am going to mask off the top portion of my card so I can ink blend on the bottom for the flooring, and I'm going to be using Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink for that. I'm just blending that on with the traditional style blending brush, and I just love how this brings the floor to life, and how because the panels in the flooring are embossed, when you die cut this panel, they're still visible when you ink blend. It's just so cool. I love it. So that will be my floor. I'm kind of using the same colors that I used in my last video, if you saw that, with the gnome for Valentine's, and I think it's just maybe my favorite color for this Valentine season. Now I am doing the opposite and masking off my floor as well as the paneling on the wall, and then I'm going to use spun sugar on the top portion to create some wallpaper. So I'm just doing a really light dusting of this color because I'm going to layer over the top of it using a stencil, which is what I did in my gnome card as well. But this time I'm going to use one of the other stencils in the set with the small polka dots, and I'm going to tape that into place with my masks still covering up the bottom half of the card so I don't accidentally get polka dots on that as well. And then I'm going to go over the top of this with the same exact sugar, that spun sugar distress oxide, that same ink. Yeah. And I'm going in with a heavier hand this time, so I will have the darker polka dots show up on the pink wall. Now I just feel like this makes it a little bit more subtle than if I was to just go in on the white paper and do the polka dots. And then the polka dots don't seem like such a crazy idea for the wallpaper because it's not as busy. Take a look. I love peeling off the Post-it notes and seeing this come together. Now, if my Post-it notes weren't exactly straight, that's okay because we have those added pieces we're going to put on. But first, I want to die cut out a window. So I use the largest rectangle to die cut that out. And then I'm going to glue on the back side of this panel a piece of vellum that will become like the glass for my window. When I flip this back over, I can take the window frame and glue that, and because I use the same size rectangle for my window frame as my window, this is going to sit right inside of there and be attached to the vellum. Then I can glue down my curtain rod, which I die cut from some silver cardstock, and then to that I will add my curtains. But I realized before I add the curtains I needed to add on that, is it called chair railing? I feel like it is, but you see what I mean, right? And then on the bottom here is the baseboards. Now the baseboard piece kind of has an impression into it, and the one that goes for like the railing piece is more rounded, or it doesn't have the indent. So they are two different pieces. So I popped up my red curtains there with foam squares, and now it's time to stamp all my cute little images from the Cottage kitchen stamp set. I wanted to stamp every single thing in the stamp set because it's so darn cute. I love this set. So I inked those up with some Copic friendly black ink, and then I also added in some of the muffins or cupcakes, and then I couldn't live without the utensils and the rolling pins, so I added those in as well. I'm going to Copic color these. For my bear, I am using E25 for my lightest color. Then I'll bring in E47 for the darkest, adding in my shadows. Then I'll bring in my mid-tone to blend out that dark color, and then when I have that done, I'll bring back my lightest color, E25, to blend all three of those colors together and fill in the rest of my image. So that's what I did for the bear. And then I'm going to show you the coloring for the apron here. I'm using R21 and RV13 for a pink apron. Some of the images are really small and I just use one or two colors, so I'm not going to focus on showing the coloring on those because it's just really simple. But I thought you'd like to see how I did this countertop. My sister has stainless steel countertops in her house, and so that was my inspiration behind this right here. So I'm using my cool grays, my darkest being C4, my mid-tone C2, and then my lightest C0. And then I just had the bottom of this countertop be white, so I used C2, C0 and C00 to add a little shadowing to this part that is meant to be white. And that is my countertop, quick and simple. And then I will move on to the oven, which is my favorite part. If you watch any of my videos, you might already know that I love a red kitchen. I don't have a red kitchen, but I love it. I think it's so retro and cute. So I had to do a red oven for my Valentine's kitchen. My lightest color is R17. My darkest that I just used for the shadowing is R39. And then I'll blend that out with my mid-tone R29 before I bring back my lightest color to blend that all together and fill it in. And it has like a center highlight. So this oven was just so much fun. And then I brought back in some of my cool grays to finish off the detailing on that. For my muffins, I colored the paper part with my lightest color and then came in with my darkest color and added 3 little lines. And I felt that helped it give it some dimension and kind of look like a muffin wrapper would look, or a cupcake wrapper. And then I am blending the top part with E25 and E27. And then I'm going to come in with my darkest color and add some little polka dots with that E47. And I feel like that just gives it a little bit of texture, or maybe it could look like a chocolate chip muffin. All right, so for my fridge, I thought I would have the outside edge be pink and then have some stainless steel panels for the door of the fridge and the freezer. So I really love how this turned out. For the center panels, I just did the same exact colors that I did for my stainless steel countertop. And so there you see that with the C2 and the C, I use C6 and C4 for that. For my little bear, I brought an E13 because I had used that for my rolling pin and my little utensils. And so this bear is a shade lighter than the other bear, and I just kind of liked that variation. And I used C8 on both of their noses. And that is the coloring for today's card. And then I'm going to go ahead and die cut out all the things like that. They're so cute when they're die cut. I always have to show it because it just makes me happy to see them all cut out like that. Now, what I do for my cards, well, first of all, I like to sketch out my idea for my card on a piece of paper if I already have one. So I did sketch this out, and then what I do is I bring in all my die cut images and just lay them out before I commit to gluing anything down. This is going to help me realize if I have too many images, if I don't have enough images, if something needs to be rearranged because it doesn't exactly fit, and so forth. So that's what I do before I commit to gluing everything down. And then I also am deciding which pieces are going to have foam squares and which ones aren't. So I popped up my countertop and then I added my books, my bear, and my muffins. And so that looked really cute, but I decided for the next piece, the oven, it would actually be easier if I attached all the things and then added the foam squares to the back. So the biggest pieces are what's really being popped up: the counter, the oven, and the fridge, and then my little bear. But gluing everything down first and then doing the foam squares just seemed quicker and easier. I am trimming off a little bit of the white on my little canisters so they fit better onto my fridge, and I just love how this kitchen turned out. It was so much fun playing with that room builder die set. If you like doing scenes, that's a really cool die set to add to your collection. I'm going to add some white highlights to all the things because I just feel like it helps bring them to life, and it is my favorite part of the coloring. Like when I'm about done coloring, I'm thinking about, oh, where am I going to put my white highlights? I just love the white gel pen. All right, now I'm bringing in Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink and blending that onto my card base right where that window is so that there's a little bit of color behind that, like the blue sky outside. And there is my Valentine's scene in the cottage kitchen. I hope you enjoyed it because it was so much fun for me to make, and I have everything linked for you below that I use so you can check that out. And I will be back again very soon with more fun featuring Trinity products just for you. Happy stamping! Bye!